Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. I'm Ty Glenn. Hope you guys are having a great Thursday. Got lots of NHL news to discuss, including the updates on the Memphis pro hockey team returning to the Mid-South. So make sure that you stay tuned in to this episode until the end. And as always, do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe button. If you are watching the Hockey Talk with TG podcast on YouTube, and if you are listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio, make sure to follow the Hockey Talk TG podcast on there. We are with you guys every Tuesday and Thursday from 1:30 p.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. Central Time, and then 2:30 p.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure to hit this podcast with a like, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell button, hit that follow button so you can stay up to date on the latest episodes of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast and the latest hockey news going around the league. Also, I posted my Ole Miss Rebels Red vs. White game day scrimmage vlog video on the TG Hockey channel. It's been a while since I posted on there. I'm going to try and post some more vlogs and other hockey entertainment stuff on there. It won't necessarily be like general news or so like I do for my podcast on hockey, but it'll just be like vlogs and other kinds of, intriguing videos for you guys to watch. So I'm going to try and make that happen on the TG Hockey channel, but for the Hockey Talk TG podcast, obviously, it'll just be general news and latest information on like any hockey news going on that I want to cover and you guys want to hear, and yeah, we'll go from there. But just wanted to let you guys know about that. I will put that link in the description. I'll also put it at the end screen for my YouTube video so you guys can go watch that Ole Miss Rebels game day vlog video. First game back for them since the winter snowstorms in Oxford back in January, delaying their schedule, and it was just a great time to be back. Also, it was senior night as well, but I'm not going to spoil too much of the video because I want you guys to watch it, so I'm not going to say too much about it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started into the NHL news for today. So the Toronto Maple Leafs, they hold off the New York Rangers with a 4-3 win on Wednesday, and the Maple Leafs improved to 31, 29, and 13 of the season. They're 3-2-1 in their past 6 games, which included a 4-2 win against their Atlantic Division and longtime rivals, the Boston Bruins, on Tuesday. And fun fact, this was the first time the Maple Leafs had a multi-goal lead in the first period since losing 6-5 in overtime to the VGK, Vegas Golden Knights, back on January 15th. Dakota Joshua, he had a goal and assist for a 2-point night. Jake McCabe, Nick Robinson, and John Tavares also scored for the Leafs. Matias Maccelli had 2 assists in the win, while Joseph Woll, who also picked up an assist in this game, he made 40 saves on 43 shots faced in net. And for the New York Rangers, Mika Zibanejad scored twice for them. Alexei Lafreniere had a goal and 2 assists for a 3-point night, while Igor Shesterkin, he made 14 saves on 18 shots faced in net. And the Rangers this season couldn't get any worse, as they have lost 6 in a row, 0-5-1 during the span. They dropped to 28, 35-9 this season. And also, they've been eliminated from playoff contention for the second year in a row after winning the President's Trophy back in 2024. It has been another unfortunate season, or droughtful season, rather, that the New York Rangers have had. And we'll see if things change heading to the 2026-27 season. But yeah, another terrible season in the books for the New York Rangers. They're the first team in the Eastern Conference to be eliminated from playoff contention. And they're the second team overall to be eliminated from playoff contention. The first team being the Vancouver Canucks. Maybe the Rangers might get Gavin McKenna. Fingers crossed they don't, because I want the Chicago Blackhawks to get them, obviously, since I am a Blackhawks fan. Or they might can get Ivan Stenberg, or Stenberg, I think that's his name, or Ivar Stenberg. I think his name's either Ivar or Ivan. I know his last name is Stenberg. Ivar Stenberg, I think that's his name. Maybe the Rangers can pick up him. But hopefully the Blackhawks win the draft lottery and they can draft Gavin McKenna. We do have a young prospect pool, and we're going to be talented team into the future. Anton Frundell just had his debut on Tuesday, and I wrote a story about that on Blackhawk Up. I'll put that link in the description so you guys can take a look at it. I also wrote a story about Sasha Barbera debuting for the Blackhawks as well, and what they're going to be getting out of him on Blackhawk Up. I'll put those 2 story links in the description. I'll also post them on Twitter. I refuse to call that X, by the way. But, the Rangers, speaking of the Blackhawks, the Rangers will head back home to take on the Chicago Blackhawks Friday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. That will be an original 6 showdown to watch. Should be an easy win for the Chicago Blackhawks. Hopefully so, since the Rangers are terrible at home. Start of a 7-game homestand for the New York Rangers. Let's see if they can win at least 2-3 of these games at home before heading out for the final 3 games on the road. The Maple Leafs, they start a 4-game road trip in St. Louis against the St. Louis Blues on Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Let's move on to the other game from Wednesday. The Boston Bruins and the Buffalo Sabres could be a potential playoff preview matchup. But it will be the Boston Bruins taking this one in overtime by a final score of 4-3. Pavel Zacha with the overtime game-winning goal in that one. He scored 38 seconds into overtime. Also had an assist for a 2-point night. And Boston improves to 40-24-8 of the season. They won 3 of their last 4 games. Currently first place in the wild card spot. They're 3 points ahead of the Ottawa Senators. They're tied with the Montreal Canadiens for 3rd place in the Atlantic Division, so chasing their long-time original 6 rivals, the Montreal Canadiens. The playoff race is heating up in the NHL, and points are necessary. We are about to be in April. Only 5 more days of March, and then the calendar flips to April the 1st on Wednesday, so points are going to be necessary at the time of year. You can't be affording to lose some of these games. So you're going to have to win each game. I think the Bruins have 1-2 games in hand. Montreal is in action today against the CBJ Columbus Blue Jackets. I don't think the Bruins play today, though. They play on, I believe, Saturday against the Minnesota Wild. So it's tight. So, like I said, they have, I think a game in hand against the Montreal Canadiens. So, we'll see if the Canadiens will lose this one to the Blue Jackets. Blue Jackets also currently in 2nd place in the Metro Division with 87 points, 38, 22, and 11 right there for the Blue Jackets. So, yeah, it's going to be some good times in these final 1-2 weeks or so, maybe even 3, but maybe 1-2 weeks of the NHL regular season. But anyway, David Pastrnak, he stepped up in a big way for the Boston Bruins. Besides Pavel Zacha, he had a goal, 2 assists for a 3-point night. He extends his point streak to 11 games, 18 points during the span, 7 goals, 11 assists for 18 points during a 11-game point streak. And he also reaches 60 assists for the 3rd straight season, tying him with Mark Savard for 4th longest streak in Bruins franchise history. Victor Arvidsson and Casey Middlestat scored for the Bruins. Casey Middlestat being back in Buffalo after playing 7 seasons with them. And in those 7 seasons, he was actually drafted by the Buffalo Sabres, by the way. In those 7 seasons, though, he had 186 points in 339 games played, 62 goals, 124 assists for 186 points in 339 games in his first 7 seasons with the Buffalo Sabres. He played his 500 career NHL game in this matchup against the Buffalo Sabres. So, all coming full circle for him being back in Buffalo and playing his 500 career game against the team that drafted him, against the team that he's been with for a while now. Played 7 seasons with the Sabres. So coming back full circle for him. And Yolis Korpisalo, he made 22 saves on 25 shots faced in net And for the Buffalo Sabres, Jason Zucker scored twice for them. Zach Benson had a goal for the Sabres in this one. And Mr. TNT USA Olympic gold medalist Tage Thompson, the big man, he finished with 2 assists in this one for the Buffalo Sabres. Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen made 27 saves on 31 shots faced in net. And the Sabres, they have lost 2 in a row, but they're still doing good. They're tied to Carolina Hurricanes for first place in the Eastern Conference. They got maybe, do they play today? I don't think they do. Let me check the schedule. I don't think they do play today. Does Buffalo play today? I don't think they do. Okay, they don't play today. But is Carolina playing though? No. Okay, so both teams are not playing today. Sabres do play tomorrow against the Detroit Red Wings, and then Carolina and Buffalo are playing Saturday. So they got 2 games in hand. Sabres got 2 games in hand against the Carolina Hurricanes. So we'll see who takes home, who finishes first in the Eastern Conference. But the Sabres are first in the Atlantic Division, though. They are first in the Atlantic Division, and they are 44, 20, and 8 of the season. The Sabres continue their 4-game homestand against Detroit Red Wings on Friday at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. That game will air on NHL Network for you guys to watch. And the Brewers will face the Minnesota Wild at home on Saturday at 4 o'clock p.m. Central Time. That game also coming on NHL Network for you guys to watch. But let's move. Oh, wait. Before we move into the Memphis Pro Hockey stuff, we got to talk about the Global Series in Finland. So NHL announced on March 23rd. What day was that on? That was on a Monday. So they announced on Monday. Couldn't talk about this on Tuesday because I had homework and was working on my Rebels hockey vlog video for you guys on TG Hockey Channel. But anyway, they released on Monday that the Carolina Hurricanes and the Seattle Kraken will be playing each other in the 2026 Global Series in Finland. And this continues the league's international push, trying to bring back regular season games to Europe, trying to grow the game, spreading it across the world to European fans who enjoy hockey. And these games will be played at Vekitis Arena. Hopefully I pronounced that right. If I didn't, please correct me in the comments. The games will be played at Vekitis Arena in Finland, in Helsinki. And there will be 2 regular season games between these 2 teams. These 2 teams will play a 2-game series on November 12th and November 14th. These games are part of the NHL regular season, by the way. They're not exhibition matchups. They're not, they're not exhibition matchups. They're not, I guess 2 games off kind of matchup. Points will still count in this one. Points will still count. This is part of the regular season. It's not anything fancy or anything like that. Points are still going to count. Wins are still going to count. Losses are still going to count. So, yeah. Carolina Hurricanes and Seattle Kraken both have players from Finland. Of course, Carolina has Sebastian Aho and Jesperi Kotkaniemi. And the Seattle Kraken have Capo Kakko, Eli Tolvanen, and Jani Nyman. So there is some Finnish talent on both of these rosters. And like I said, they're going to have another Global Series game, this time in Germany, between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Ottawa Senators. So the NHL will be having 2 Global Series games. They do this every year. I'm excited for both of them, especially the Blackhawks one, since I am a Blackhawks fan. Yeah, now those are my thoughts on it. That's my discussion on it. It's just a little short discussion on it. Let me know you guys' thoughts about this. Obviously, like I said, they're trying to grow the game, trying to promote these games in Europe, in Germany, Finland, Sweden. I think last year's one or the year before that was in Sweden. So they're trying to grow the game and put in places where there's not really a lot of hockey, and trying to grow the game for other European fans so like they can get into the game and other stuff like that. All right, now we're moving on to updates on the pro hockey team in the Memphis and Mid-South area. And great time to be talking about this, as I'm currently wearing a John Morant Memphis Grizzlies jersey while doing this Hockey Talk with TG podcast for you guys. So I figured since I'm going to be talking about this, why not wear Memphis Grizzlies John Morant jersey. I don't know if he's still leaving the Grizzlies or not. I don't keep an eye out on basketball. Especially since the Bulls are doing terrible, trading all their key players to different teams. But anyways, updates on the pro hockey team. So as I told you guys before on the last episode of Hockey Talk TG podcast, according to the article from the Daily Memphian, which is a news media outlet in Memphis, there will be a new minor league team set to begin play at the Landis Center in South Haven, Mississippi. Marking return of pro hockey to the Memphis area. This will be started in late October 2026. And the first time that hockey will be coming back to the Memphis and the Mid-South area since the departure of the Mississippi River Kings, or Memphis River Kings, because they used to be called the Memphis River Kings before they moved to Mississippi, called themselves the Mississippi River Kings. But this will be the first time since the departure of the Mississippi River Kings in 2018 that Memphis and the Mid-South will be having pro hockey back. And we found out, according to WRAG News Channel 3 and Fox 13 Memphis, that the new franchise will compete in the FPHL, which to those who don't know what that stands for the Federal Prospects Hockey League. And yeah, I'm very excited to see this. I have a lot of buddies that are from the Memphis and Mid-South area, including some that are living in Nashville, that they're excited to see this come back. And I'm excited too. As somebody that's from up north and again has friends and buddies in the Memphis and Mid-South area, I'm excited. I'm ecstatic to see hockey back in Memphis, growing the game. 3 words I love so much about hockey: growing the game. Putting it in places where you normally don't see it. And hockey has been in Memphis before. Like I said, the River Kings were in Memphis. They were in Mississippi. They played at the Landis Center before in South Haven, Mississippi. They played at the Landis Center. And now this new hockey team, who we don't know what the name's going to be yet, are going to be playing at the Landis Center. But speaking of that, they do have a fan poll open. They do have a fan poll open where fans can vote on the team name. I shouldn't even say fan poll. They have a comment section open. It's a Google Forms thing that they have open, and I will put that link in the description for you guys, especially for people that are living in Memphis and the Mid-South. And are, like I said, excited about seeing this new hockey team come back. I will put that link in the description for you guys to vote on the team name. Who do you think the team name should be? I was talking about this off air to one of my friends I play hockey with. He asked, who do I think the team name will be? I think the team name, if this was me, I would say Memphis Rink Rats. I don't know if that name is too cliche to some of you guys or not, but I would say the Memphis Rink Rats. I think it's a good name. It's a badass name, so why not? I have other names if some people disagree with that. I can't think of them right now, though, but I do have other names in mind if Rink Rats doesn't work out. Yeah. And there is a team that is playing in the FPHL already that's also in Mississippi, the Biloxi Breakers. I hope I pronounced that right. If I didn't, please correct me in the comments. The Biloxi Breakers are playing in Biloxi, Mississippi, hence the team name. They're playing in Biloxi, Mississippi, which I don't know how far that away is from South Haven, but for anybody living in Mississippi or know the area very well, you can drop a comment below and let me know. I don't know how far it's that away from South Haven or not. I actually could look it up, though. Let's see. Let's look up and see how far is that away from South Haven, Mississippi, because like I said, I'm not sure. Not sure how far that's away from South Haven. So let's see. Oh, it is a 5 hour and 28-minute drive. So that is a long drive from South Haven to Biloxi, or however you pronounce that name. So yeah, could be a potential start of a rivalry matchup when this new hockey team comes into play in the Memphis and Mid-South area. And overall thoughts on this, like I said, I can't express any more of how much I'm excited to see hockey in Memphis, especially since it's been in Memphis before and it went away in 2018 with the departure of the Mississippi River Kings. And now, 8 years later, almost a decade later, they're going to be bringing hockey back. And like I said, I'm from up north, from Chicago, and I love to see hockey in places and putting it in places so that new people who aren't familiar with the game of hockey, they can like it and be interested in it. They can learn more about it and stuff. Like I hope some of you guys, when the River Kings were in Memphis, went to a River Kings fan. Like, hey, I became a hockey fan, and I started getting into hockey when the River Kings were here, blah, blah, blah. Somebody could say something like that. Or when this new team comes to play, whatever the team name is, they can say, like, hey, I've been to a couple of these games before, and it's really fun and interesting. Like, I'm starting to like hockey. I want to get into hockey. I want to play hockey. And other stuff. Like, I like to hear comments from people who aren't familiar with the game and want to get into the game. I like to hear comments like that. Like, some people even say I got into hockey because of myself. Like, because you guys know I'm very passionate about hockey. And one person said, well, I got into hockey because my friend Ty, he's a huge hockey fan, and he's one of the reasons why I got into it. I love to hear comments like that. So just putting hockey back in Memphis or in other places in the South, because the South isn't known for hockey. It's not really known for hockey, but it's trending up there with College Hockey South, which I used to work for them as a beat writer intern. May come back to working with them, who knows. And then you have the success of the Tampa Bay Lightning, Florida Panthers winning Stanley Cups and hosting events like the All-Star Game, the Winter Classic, Stadium Series. So hockey is trending up in the South. So it is trying to grow popular in the South, and I'm very happy to see it. Very, very, very happy to see it. So, yeah. And my second favorite team is the Nashville Predators. I am a Blackhawks fan. These two teams were playing each other on Sunday, I believe. And I always say, when the Blackhawks and Predators play each other, I'm cheering for the Blackhawks all the way. I grew up a Hawks fan. I've been to a lot of Blackhawks games. I'm from up north. And, the Blackhawks have been a huge reason of how and why I like hockey, or how I got into hockey, because of the Chicago Blackhawks. So I'm a huge Blackhawks fan, but if I had to have a second favorite team, it would be the Nashville Predators. So, yeah, and the Predators are doing really good right now. They won 5 in a row. One of those wins being, unfortunately, against the Chicago Blackhawks. So they are trying to, have belief. I think Steven Stamkos said this in an interview in one of the Predators games. Like, trying to have belief in the team, saying that, like, hey, we were down here in the standings. We're trying to work our way up and get into a playoff spot and make the playoffs this year. It's looking that way for the Nashville Predators. But anyway, NHL games on the slate for today. There is 13 games on the slate for today after 2 games on the slate from yesterday. Starting with the Columbus Blue Jackets taking on the Montreal Canadiens at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. The Blue Jackets are in second place of the Metropolitan Division with 87 points. The Penguins trailing right there with 86 points. And they also play today against the Ottawa Senators at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. So 2 pivotal games for both of these teams. And then we got the Seattle Kraken taking on the Tampa Bay Lightning at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. The Tampa Bay Lightning are 3 points behind the Sabres for first place in the Atlantic Division. The Seattle Kraken, 5 points out of a playoff spot, trying to be in that wild card playoff picture in the Western Conference. Victor Hedman, he will not be in the lineup for the Tampa Bay Lightning. He will be out due to personal reasons, so you won't see Lightning captain Victor Hedman in the lineup for the Lightning. And then moving on from Tampa to Sunrise, we got the Minnesota Wild taking on the 2-time Cup champion Florida Panthers at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. That game will air on ESPN for you guys to watch. The Panthers are the second to last team in the Eastern Conference. They are 35, 32, and 3 of the season. Not what a lot of people were expecting for the Florida Panthers, but you have to remember that Alexander Barkov is out for the entire season. Matthew Tkachuk missed the majority of these games this season because of surgery that he had, so he was unable to play for the Panthers for their first game of the season. So their top 2 players were out for the season. Barkov's out for the entire season. Matthew Tkachuk missed the entire clunk of these games for the season. I don't know if that was the right word to put it, though, but he's missed some time for the Panthers this season. He's only played 23 games this season. He has 23 points in those 23 games, 9 goals, 14 assists for 23 points in 23 games played this season. And then we got the Dallas Stars taking on the New York Islanders at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. The New York Islanders have lost, I believe, I think they lost 3 in a row. I think they had an overtime loss or so. But they are outside of the playoff spot with 85 points, tied with the Senators for second place. Wild card spot, so really important games to win. I think the Stars have already clinched the playoffs. So the Islanders need this win more than the Stars do. The Stars look to clinch first place in the Central Division, but they already clinched the playoffs. So the Islanders need this win more than the Stars do. So it's going to be impossible playing against a top team like the Dallas Stars, but we'll see what happens in this one. Then we got the Chicago Blackhawks taking on the Philadelphia Flyers at 6 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Potential debut for Sasha Bovair of the Chicago Blackhawks. I did write a story on Blackhawk or what could the Blackhawks be getting in Sasha Bovair. I will put that link in the description for you guys to check out. Flyers, they are still hanging in a playoff spot. They are 5 points out of a playoff spot. They only have 12 games remaining this season. Let's see if they can catch up with the Ottawa Senators or the New York Islanders for the wild card spot. I did predict that they make the playoffs this season, but we'll just see what happens. So they need a huge 2 points in this one against the Chicago Blackhawks, which hopefully they don't. Just because they're playing the Chicago Blackhawks in this one, and I'm a Chicago Blackhawks fan, so hopefully they don't win against the Blackhawks in this one. Maybe losing this one and then maybe win other games against other teams. Like, who would they be playing next after the Blackhawks? Who would they be playing next? They got the Red Wings on Saturday. Of course, the Red Wings are trying to make the playoffs for the first time since 2016. So that can be a good game to win. That can be a huge 2 points for the Flyers. And that one, they're playing a back-to-back. They played Sunday against the Dallas Stars. So, yeah, they can try and win some games right there. But hopefully they don't win against the Blackhawks. They might will. They might will, since they have the better team than the Blackhawks do. And they already won against them this season, I believe. And I think they played already this season in December. And they won there. So the Blackhawks playoff picture, yeah, they're not making the playoffs. We're trying to tank for Gavin McKenna, so yeah, hopefully we win the draft lottery. Anyways, we got the San Jose Sharks taking on St. Louis Blues at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Sharks are 7 points out of a playoff spot. Blues are 11 points out of a playoff spot. Sharks still trying to hang in there. Blues, I don't think they'll be making the playoffs. Then we got the New Jersey Devils taking on Nashville Predators at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Predators, they've been red hot of late. They won 5 in a row. They won 7 in their last 10 games. They're in a wild card spot. 77 points. 3 points behind the Mammoth for first place in the wild card spot. And of course, the Mammoth also play in the Central Division. So 2 Central Division teams already in the wild card spot. So we'll see if the Predators can continue on this win streak and win 6 in a row and try and catch up to the Utah Mammoth for that first place spot in the Western Conference wild card spot. Devils, they are far behind from playoff spots, so this game doesn't mean a lot for the Devils as it does for the Predators. And then we got a Central Division showdown between the Colorado Avalanche and the Winnipeg Jets at 7 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Jets are still hanging in a playoff spot. They are 5 points out of a playoff spot. Avalanche have already clinched the playoffs, and they have 104 points so far. And it's going to be a tough battle for the Winnipeg Jets against the top team in the league in the Colorado Avalanche. And then we got the Washington Capitals taking on the Utah Mammoth at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Capitals 6 points out of a playoff spot. Mammoth already in a playoff spot, so both teams looking for a huge 2 points. And then we got a Pacific Division showdown between the Anaheim Ducks and the Calgary Flames at 8 o'clock p.m. Central Time. And then we got another Pacific Division showdown between the Edmonton Oilers and the Vegas Golden Knights at 8:30 p.m. Central Time, which that game will air on ESPN for you guys to watch. Oilers are second place in the Pacific with a 35-28-9 record, 79 points. Vegas Golden Knights just 1 point behind them with a 32-26-14 record with 78 points. We could see these two teams square off in the Stanley Cup playoffs this year. But both teams looking for a huge 2 points in this one because Oilers are second in the Pacific with 79 points. Golden Knights are third in the Pacific with 78 points. So it's going to be an interesting matchup between these two teams. We'll see who comes out on top with a huge 2 points. And then our last game of the night will be the LA Kings taking on the Vancouver Canucks at 9 o'clock p.m. Central Time. Kings are 3 points out of a playoff spot with 74 points behind the Predators right there. So they got like 2-3 games in hand. Canucks, we already know what the case is for the Vancouver Canucks. They've been eliminated from playoff contention, so they will not be making the playoffs this year. They're trying to get Gavin McKenna, which hopefully they don't. Hopefully it's the Blackhawks winning the draft lottery, but we'll see what happens there. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in as always. Really do appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button on YouTube and make sure to follow the Hockey Talk TG podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. We're with you every Tuesday and Thursday from 1:30 p.m. to 2 o'clock p.m. Central Time, and then 2:30 p.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure that you're following the Hockey Talk TG podcast on all your podcast streaming platforms so you won't miss an update on the latest hockey news going on and going out around the NHL. College hockey playoffs is around the corner. I think they're going to start having the tournaments on Friday, and then on April 9th through 11th, they'll have their NCAA Frozen Four, in which, let's see, where would that be at? I think it's going to be in, I want to say St. Louis this year. Oh, wait, no, it's going to be in Vegas. It's going to be in Vegas at T-Mobile Arena from April 9th through 11th, which is where the Vegas Golden Knights play at. So we will be talking about that, and I will post my bracket on social media. Maybe when the game's going to get scheduled. I think they're supposed to get scheduled for this week, but I'm not sure. I'll have to take a look at that maybe off air of the Hockey Talk TG podcast, and I'll come on here on Tuesday and talk to you guys more about it. Both of you guys have a great rest of your day. Keep God first as always. Be blessed. Enjoy your weekend. And I'll see you guys all back here on Tuesday for another episode of the Hockey Talk with TG podcast. Take care.